walk out the door, everybody looks, yeah, everybody pause. Got the style that'll fuck up your floor, make you think twice for your ass for my coat. Nah, you ain't ready for it yet, I'ma let you know what's coming off next. I just walk out the door, the rest just go. I've been trying not to try. Get out my face, get out my way.
Hey everyone, this is Nat and welcome back. So for today's video, it's gonna be a fun thrift transformation project where I'll be transforming a vintage Nike sweatshirt that I've thrifted into a trendy corset top. So I've seen this DIY is being viral on Instagram and TikTok, and I feel like that I need to try making one. So this corset is not like this kind of Regency corset you've seen on the past years, like what Victorian people used to wear. It is just a tank top with a corset silhouette. It doesn't squish your waistline because it also depends on the fabric you're using. For me, I'm using the Nike sweatshirt fabric, which is kind of stretchy, so it is very comfortable to wear. If you find today's video useful for you to make your own corset at home, please kindly subscribe to my channel for more DIYs video and give this video a like. So let's start with the pattern pieces. For the front part, there will be two panels, which is the bodice part, and you will need to attach them later. For the back part, there will be three panels, which is two bodice and one shoulder. You will first need to attach the bodice part, and then later you will attach the back shoulder panel to the front shoulder panel. So now let's start with the thrift flip. Jadi pertama, aku pakai pendedel untuk ngepisah-pisah bagian sweater ini, and I feel like it is also to minimize the fabric waste. And for thrift flipping, I think you need to save as much as fabric as you could. But you can also use scissor if you're already comfortable using it. And here are the results: the front piece, the back piece, the hoodie, and the sleeve. So the logo is too big for my pattern, and I decided to cut out the Nike logo only. And later I will sew it on the front piece, which later I will draft it out first to make sure that the Nike logo stays on the center of the corset. Terus selanjutnya kalian juga mau potong lining fabric, and I suggest for the material that you will use a similar one to the sweatshirt you are using. And then I continue to sew the Nike logo to the center front bodice pieces only. And after you finish that, continue to attach all the bodice panel together. Then mark the places where you want your boning to be located at. Also cut thin strips of fabric according to the boning you're using. The width should not be too small, too big, it should be just the right size. Pastikan kalian sudah nyambung pattern kalian dengan benar, dan check out your boning and measure the length on every section of the corset. I use sandpaper to remove the raw edges of the boning. This is to make sure that the boning will not be pointing out later. Also leave a gap at the top and the bottom according to your seam allowance. And then combine the lining fabric into the sweatshirt fabric. Make sure to pin both of them carefully because you're dealing with a stretchy fabric. Then sew the top part only until the shoulder part. Then trim the edges to give a more neater look. And top stitch the corset to prevent the fabric from stretching. Your top stitch should be neat, and it should only be 0.1 cm from the raw edge. This is the result, and then continue to combine the back shoulder into the back panel. Then cut a long strip of fabric to close the bottom part of the corset. Pin it on the lining part of the fabric, fold it twice, and sew it together like so. Finishing off with top stitching it to prevent the fabric from stretching away. Then it comes to the last part, which is closing the opening, and for that I'm using a jacket zipper because it is more practical to use.
I've been trying not to lie. Get out my face, get out my way. I'm not distant, I'm a vixen. last too long. What's your grind? You ain't mine. About my business, money, time. Na 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 na.